Welcome, everybody, to the 23-24 IYHA Junior Fuel Hockey season. In this presentation, we'll meet our staff and board members, and then we will talk a little bit about the 22-23 season recap, go through the numbers for the year, the breakdown of the program, and we'll move on to some of our most successful alumni from this past season, as well as those playing at hockey's highest levels. We'll move on to learn to play hockey for the upcoming season, planning, programming, and who to reach out to for that. We'll talk about the 317 Hockey League, which is our rec option, our lowest commitment option for those players wanting to play hockey from 8U through 18U. And we'll move on to all of our girls travel hockey options and house hockey options. We've expanded girls programming this year. Next, after that, we will talk about our Junior Fuel Tier 2 travel options for boys and girls, Indiana Elite AAA, and we'll move on to our fundraising and events for the upcoming season. We'll have some of our favorites from years past, but we'll also be introducing some new options for fundraising for individuals and for the program. And then we'll touch on our season calendar. As always, if you have questions, feel free to reach out via email to Derek, DEREK, at IYHA.com, and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. So we're going into our fifth season as the merged IYHA Junior Fuel. As most of you know, for the 2019-2020 season, the Junior Fuel merged with the IYHA Racers to create a house league of over 500 players, which is now called the 317 Hockey League, and 24 travel teams for boys and girls. So we have options from learn to play all the way through the 18U AAA level. On the left of the slide here is our board of directors. Current president Ed Carpenter, VP Larry McQuarrie, Brent Cox, Mike Albee, John Cavey, Josh Mervis, Charlie Smith, and John Tiberi. My name is Derek Edwardson. I'm the executive director going into my 9th year in Indianapolis. I started with the Indy Strong back in 2014-2015, moved on to the Racers, and now I have the privilege of serving as director of the IYHA Junior Fuel. Director of Program Development is JJ Beck. Most of you have seen her around the rink. She's been around the ice rink since she was a kid in Indianapolis. Her brother, not married couple, her brother Ryan Beck is our 317 Hockey League Director. Director of Player and Coach Development is Brent Witt. You'll see Brent out on the ice with all of our 8U 317 League practices. Brent also works with all of our coaches at the house and travel level, providing guidance and any assistance he possibly can to make sure our coaches and players are all going in the right direction. Director of Player Advancement and 16-18U AAA head coach is Brian Gratz. Brian came to us last year after 10 years coaching professionally in the ECHL, the CHL. He brings a wealth of knowledge and experience as well as a network to do what's best for our 16U, 18U AAA players and 16U Gold players to prepare them to move on to hockey's highest levels of junior hockey, NCAA, and hopefully the professional levels. Back for another year as Director of Goalie Development, Nick Johnson. Nick has been tremendous for the past few seasons, working with our goalies weekly, working with our travel goalies, running our goalie spring clinics. Again, all of our emails are on the sheet here. If you have individual questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. The board, we get questions fairly often about the board. The board is a governing board. Once we merged and have grown to the size that we are, the board decided that it would be best to have a full-time staff and for them to be in more of a governing position than a day-to-day operations. So if you have questions, please do reach out to the staff first, and anything that we deem necessary to bring to the board will be brought to the board at the next meeting. IYHA Junior Fuel, our goal and mission statement: we strive to inspire the next generation of lifelong hockey players, coaches, officials, and fans. Reality of it is they're not all going to be NHL players, our college hockey players, but we want our players to fall in love with the game and love it for their lifetime. We realize that most of our coaches currently grew up playing hockey and had those experiences, and We want officials, we want coaches, we want everybody. We want our adult league full of former IYHA junior fuel players for a lifetime. So the growth element, one of our priorities is to grow the pyramid. We need to expand our base and grow it at the grassroots levels. We'll talk about some of our initiatives to grow the game here in the next coming slides, but that is going to be one of our priorities. Development. We want to provide the best available training, competition, coaching, and exposures for our highest level players. The IYHA Junior Fuel is all encompassing. We want to provide the best experience possible for our rec league players, our intro to hockey players, but we also have a platform for players to stay in town, play at the highest levels as they're growing up, and move on to the junior, the NCAA, and the professional levels. Passion for the game. Everything that I just talked about comes from passion. We want to create an environment for all players, regardless of experience and ability, to develop a love for the game. So 22-23 season by the numbers. Our 10U through 18U 317 Hockey League made up 33% of our program. The last year, our 317 league set a record for numbers for enrollment. We'll talk about that a little bit in the next slide, but that's growing, and that's by far the most important part of our program. 8U 317 league and our Nitros, which is primarily made up of 4 to 7-year-olds that aren't quite ready for the 317 league full schedule. It's a once weekly session on Friday nights. For those players not quite ready for the league but want to get on the ice and be prepared for the league next year. That was at 22%. Our Tier 2 boys travel teams made up 17%. Our Tier 1 AAA travel teams made up 11%. And that number is skewed a little bit higher than it should be just because we don't have, until this year, we didn't have Tier 2 hockey at the 16-18 level. So we had 40-plus players at 16 and 18 playing AAA. That wasn't an option. But this year, we're thrilled to announce that we will have a 16U gold team competing in the Central States Development League and hopefully preparing those players to move on to the AAA level in the near future. Lids Learn to Play Hockey is at 9% of the program right now, and girls travel is at 6%. Highlights from this past season. We had the Capitan Appliance Repair All-Star Game and Skills Competition for our 317 League. It's the first time we've done this event for the 317 League. All players and coaches nominated who they thought were the top teammates, as well as the top coaches in each age group. And we had an NHL-style all-star game and skills competition, which went really well. It was a lot of fun for players and spectators alike. Fundraising for this past season through our Memorial Golf Outing, our Matt Smith Memorial Golf Outing, Parents Night Out, the Hoosier Hockey Invitational, our NVEV raffle, Indy Fuel Game 50-50 ticket sales, and our sponsorship efforts raise a total of $138,981. And that was a huge help for the program. And we will continue to strive to do our best to raise as much money as possible to keep the assessments and player fees for the season as low as possible. As I said in the last slide, we had a record 614 players registered in the 317 Hockey League this past season. And we also expanded the league to include the South Indy Sharks to play in our 317 league, but those players did not count to our total of 614 players. So we're really excited to expand that league, make those games as much fun as possible, do our best to make sure that those teams aren't playing the same teams over and over every weekend, and make it a really fun environment for everybody involved. We launched this past season in partnership with Indianapolis Public Schools, a PE floor hockey program, where we had fuel players come in and do some assemblies to introduce the game of hockey to IPS. We had a group of PE teachers get on board and do a floor hockey unit for over a dozen IPS schools this past season. We also introduced the IPS skating program at Arctic Zone and at the fuel tank, where we had players ride buses after school up to those two rinks and work with JJ and a lot of our skating instructors to get them on the ice, introduce them to the game, and hopefully convert to future 317 and travel players. This past season was the inaugural season of Indiana Elite full time. We partnered with all of the other youth hockey associations throughout the state to make up the Indiana State Hockey Association, to make a more viable option for AAA hockey for players throughout the state. Just an expansion of what Junior Fuel AAA was before. We altered the practice schedule to make it a little bit more accommodating for players that live outside of Indy that can compete at the AAA level to come down and compete with alongside our top players. We were thrilled after the first season to have 3 teams ranked 37, 48, and 54 nationally, and that's out of a total of anywhere from 600 to 1,000 teams in each age group. It's really put Indiana hockey on the map. We've had victories over several of the top-rated teams in the country, from Chicago, Detroit, Ohio, St. Louis. Is a great step in the right direction for AAA hockey, with the goal of having a top-end AAA program in Indiana, accessible to all players in Indiana, so they don't have to leave home to play at hockey's highest levels before they're done with high school. And exciting news for the upcoming season, as many of you know that are in that world, we're expanding. This past year, Indiana Elite was for the 2009 birth years and younger. Indiana Elite branding and staff is expanding up to the 18U AAA level for the upcoming season. Junior Fuel Tier 2 travel. We had 3 state champions last year: 14U Gold, 12U Gold, and 14U Red. To go along with that, our gold teams at all 3 levels, and including the 16U Gold team for the upcoming season, played in the Central States Development Hockey League, which is head and shoulders the best AA hockey league in the country. We had our 12U Gold team was a finalist in their first season. 10 and 14U made the semifinals, so that was a huge step in the right direction for our gold teams, our AA level teams, to get high-end competition and continue to develop and push our AAA teams, push for spots on those AAA teams, and make the most competitive environment possible. Our 14U AAA team last year, playing as a Junior Fuel, won the NAPHL playoff, first Indy team in history to win the NAPHL playoffs, and made an appearance at the Mid-Am District playoffs, losing by 1 goal to the eventual champions, Pittsburgh Pens Elite. Our girls travel teams, our girls Junior Fuel travel teams, racked up 6 tournament championships this past season. And again, we have our tryouts coming up next week with our girls program. Our girls travel program is growing and improving every year, so it's very exciting to watch. IYHA Junior Fuel player promotion. Brian Gratz, as their director of player advancement, has done a fantastic job. As I said, Coach Gratz has been involved in the professional and college hockey world for the last 20 plus years. Him being at the forefront of our 16 and 18 program is a great benefit for our players. He knows everybody in junior hockey, he knows everybody in college hockey, and he works tirelessly in season and off season, making phone calls, really pushing for our players to move on. And this is a banner year for our 16s and 18s players moving on to real NCAA and free to play junior hockey. JJ Granda, Carmel native, played Junior Fuel 18U AAA a couple of years ago. Just wrapped up his second year in the North American Hockey League, playing for the Chippewa Steel. Signed a scholarship to play for NCAA D1 Stonehill College outside of Boston. Adam Johnson, goalie that played 18 AAA for us a couple of years ago, played last season in the North American League for Johnstown. Again, signed a scholarship to play for Lindenwood University in St. Louis. Jack Saavedra, South Bend native, played 18 AAA for us. Played 15, 16, and 18 AAA for us. Finished up his freshman year at Fitchburg State, Massachusetts, NCAA Division III. Sean Schiffrel, 18 AAA player, committed to play at Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts, NCAA Division III. Andrew Penka, who played Tier 2 for us through 14U AAA at 15, 16, and 18, just finished up his freshman year at the U.S. Naval Academy. We have 5 players currently playing in the North American Hockey League, all whom have played 15, 16, or 18U AAA for the Junior Fuel. And just in the past month or two, all players that played for us over the past year or two for 16 and 18 AAA had a lot of signings and draft picks in the NCDC, which is a National Collegiate Development Conference free-to-play junior hockey, which moves players on to NCAA hockey every year. Dozens and dozens of players move on from that league. Liam Donovan, CJ Davidson, Garrett Parker, Peyton Smith, Chris Fotopoulos, and Drew Spalding all signed contracts with NCDC teams for the upcoming season. Philip Pliastos, Aiden Vanderweel, and Luke McIntosh were all drafted a couple of weeks ago in the NCDC draft. So again, all these players came to Indy or grew up playing hockey here in Indy, trusted us to play 16 and 18 AAA locally, and have earned these spots themselves. But also it's a tribute to what Coach Gratz and his staff have been up to the past couple of years, just pushing these players, preparing these players, and making those phone calls and making sure coaches are aware of everybody playing high-level AAA and gold hockey in Indianapolis. Indy players in the pros. Grant Hutton is going on year 2 of a Carmel, Indiana native, going on year 2 of his 3-year contract with the New York Islanders. Got some games a year ago with the Islanders. Really exciting contract signing about a month ago. Aiden Fulp, Westfield native, also signed with the Islanders. 2-year contract. Just finished up his collegiate career at Western Michigan Division I. He will be fighting for a spot. Hopefully in the near future, we'll see an all-Indy D pair playing for the Islanders. First time in Indy history for that. So we'll be rooting for Aiden and Hutton to get some lineup time together in the next couple seasons. Mason Yops, Speedway native, played this past year in Rochester of the AHL affiliate, AAA affiliate of the Buffalo Sabres. Cam Schilling played in Djurgårdens of the Swedish Elite League this past season. And Jackson Pearson, Zionsville native, just finished up his college career at Notre Dame, finished up the season with the ECHL Fort Wayne Comets. So from our pros back to our beginners. Lids Learn to Play Hockey. We're very grateful for our partnership with the Lids Foundation, sponsoring our Learn to Play Hockey program, purchasing brand new gear for new players. Stay tuned for the next version of that. We should start that at the end of the summer, where brand new players with no hockey experience that sign up for Lids Learn to Play Hockey will get a full free set of gear with your 3-month registration for the season. Our Learn to Play Hockey director is Barb Loeffner. Barb's been a skating and hockey coach around here for a very long time. Several of those players playing pro hockey on the last slide started learning to skate with Barb, learning to play hockey, and she has been a big part of most of our top players in their hockey development and skating instruction moving on. So please reach out to Barb if you're interested, and if you have young kids interested, if you have friends, neighbors, anybody interested in starting to play hockey. Keep an eye out. Again, keep an eye out for our Lids Learn to Play promotion where they can get a full free set of gear. Full details are at IYHA.com/LTP. In the off season, we have one session at Carmel and one session at Fuel Tank. But once the season gets going in September, we'll be back to our full schedule of 4 sessions per week, where players can pick and choose which sessions they want, minimum of 1 per week for all players. 317 Hockey League planning for the upcoming season. The format for the 317 League will stay the same. All teams from 8U through 18U will have 1 team practice per week. And if you go through the top column there, 10U through 14U will have team practices, shared ice team practices. The 8U will continue with station-based practices, focusing primarily on skill development. We think that that's a very important element of 8U to make sure all players get the fundamental skills from a professional skills coach. Director of Player Development, Brent Gwitt, will be running all of those sessions again for another season. But players will get 1 practice session every week with their assessment. All those players will also get 1 game per week with their teams. After opening weekend, the first week of October, we'll do an evaluation for all players involved with 317 Hockey League, divide up teams, and probably into the second week of the season, you'll be split into those teams, and the 10U through 18U will skate with your teams and play games on Saturdays. We'll wrap up the first weekend of first weekend of March with the Gannon Cup playoffs. We'll see the teams based on regular season standings and have a 3-game guarantee playoff and crowning our Gannon Cup champions. Pricing, early bird pricing will be, registration will open up here in the next week or two. Early bird pricing on the third row here will be good through June 15th. And then after June 15th, the price goes up slightly, but we ask that you register as soon as possible so we can do our best to get that practice schedule into the calendar. And we get a lot of questions throughout the summer. What nights is my kid going to practice? Where are my practices going to be? What time are they going to be? The earlier we can get everybody registered so we know numbers and can figure out those ice slots, the quicker we can get those practice times out to you. So we ask, please, that if you're trying out for a travel team and you don't make it, or if you're just planning on playing 317 Hockey League, please register as soon as possible. You'll pay a $200 deposit upon registration, and monthly payments will begin in October. We also will, if you want to do, we're going to set a deadline beginning of August for those players that need new uniforms. There'll be a deadline likely of August 1st for players that need new jerseys and socks to get that registration in, so we can make the jersey orders earlier than we typically do, so everybody has their uniforms by the time the season starts. One element that wasn't included on this slide is supplemental skills. Traditionally, we have one session a week for each age group for all players interested in doing a supplemental skills session, having another practice, trying to improve their game beyond their individual team practices. We're going to run supplemental skills a little bit differently next year, similar to our spring prospects clinics that are going on right now. We're going to have 3 different 6-week phases that start in the end of October that you can sign up for individually. You can pick all 3 6-week phases. You can do all 3 6-week phases, or you can pick any one individual that you think your player needs more than others. Some of the specializations will be skating. Everybody likes to work on skating. That's usually the most popular session. We're going to do puck skills, which include shooting, passing, stick handling, and we'll do a body contact and competitive games session as well. The exciting part for that, we'll have coaches available for each session, coaches running each session that specialize in those individual skills. So it'll be a more focused, a little bit more intense skill sessions for the upcoming season. Onto our girls hockey programming. A big part of Indiana Elite and what we're striving to do is to expand high-level hockey, high-level travel hockey to girls throughout the state. Indiana Elite girls teams for the upcoming season. We're going to, Coach Tori Crown is returning to coach the 16U IE girls, and we are expanding to a 14U full-time option for the upcoming season. We did have tryouts already. Rosters are already set. We're thrilled with our staff and our players for the upcoming season. Mike Ferrier is coaching the 14U girls full-time. Both teams are joining the NGHL, the National Girls Hockey League. They're also going to attend several showcases and friendlies. The goal of the IE girls program is to, again, just like our IE boys and what we're doing with 16U, 18U, AAA boys, to give the top female players a high-level option locally while staying at home. Traditionally, a lot of our girls have moved on to other cities or have gone to boarding school. And it's been a priority of ours over the past couple of years to have a high-level local girls option where they can stay at home through 16, through 19U, and move on to play NCAA, our club college hockey. We're bringing back the 12U girls prospects, and as a part-time team, these girls will play locally, whether it's in Indy or anywhere throughout the state with their local travel teams. And i.e. 12U prospect team will get together about once a month for either practices or games. They'll play a 12 to 15 game tournament showcase schedule. They'll have some practice weekends, some team building events, and expose these girls to some of the best coaches, the best hockey available in the state, and hopefully turn that into a feeder program for our 14 and 16 full-time teams. Junior Fuel girls programming for the upcoming season. We do plan to field 10U through 19U travel teams again. We're thrilled about our coaching staff. 19U head coach Chris May and director of girls hockey has done a fantastic job since the inception of girls hockey here in Indy. She leads up our 19U team, but she is the one that's brought together this entire coaching staff and has really grown girls hockey from non-existent to what it is today. Um, as many of you may have seen the recent email communication, we've added head coach Kendra Broad. Grew up in Canada, played NCAA Division I hockey at Lindenwood, played professionally in the National Women's Hockey League, played internationally in Sweden, Switzerland, and Kazakhstan. Recently moved to Indy and is going to be a big part of our girls program moving forward. She's going to be a fantastic example for our girls of what it takes to play at a high level, and one of the few women out there coaching and involved in girls hockey that's made a living playing women's hockey. Got a great education, and we're thrilled to bring Kendra aboard for the upcoming season. Our 23-24 girls 317 league. Big exciting change. We've gotten a lot of feedback on the girls house program over the past couple of years, and we're finally to the point where we have the numbers where we can create a girls house league that plays against the other girls. They practice together with the girls and play games against only girls on the weekend. So how it will work for the upcoming season: the girls will all practice on Monday night. It'll be either one or two sessions, depending on age groups and the size of the groups that sign up. It'll be one or two practice sessions on Monday night. Station-based practices. It'll be a great option for new players to get into all girls hockey and be mentored by girls who've been playing for a while. Be mentored by girls hockey coaches. A welcoming environment, encouraging environment for our female players. Teams will be split. They're going to play their games on Friday night, which is also a new development. Our girls travel players will have the option to play in the girls 317 league for the upcoming season. And because of that, we thought it would be best to put the girls 317 league games on Friday night, so those travel players can also play in the house league and not disrupt their travel hockey season. Tier 2 travel. I'm not going to go through this slide in detail. There's a whole lot of information there, so I would recommend you either pause it or take a screenshot here. All the information for all of our Tier 2 travel is on this sheet from 19U girls hockey all the way down through 10U travel hockey. Brief overview. The practice schedule and the training schedule is going to be unchanged. Travel teams, boys travel teams, are going to be on the ice 3 nights a week. They're going to get 12, 14, 16U are going to have off ice, as well as the 19U girls are going to have off ice training at the fuel tank. They're going to play 4 tournaments across the board. You can see near the bottom there roster sizes and prices. As always, Tier 2 tryouts are happening next weekend. We're going to ask that you review this carefully. Please reach out with any questions. The registration deadline for tryouts is tonight, Monday night, May 15th. So please, if you intend to travel for try out for Tier 2 hockey, get that registration in so we can sort teams and you can get all the instructions ahead of tryouts. But we will ask for a commitment on Sunday of Tier 2 tryout weekend, Sunday, May 21st. So please review this carefully, take a screenshot, discuss with your family. Be prepared to have those responses ready when the coaches make those calls on Sunday. The goal is to field at the 10, 12, and 14U level, gold team, black team, red team, and white team. Our gold team are returning to the Central States Development Hockey League. Black, red, and white plan to play in the Buckeye Travel Hockey League, which is a Indiana, Ohio, Southwest Ohio, and Northern Kentucky-based league. They play home and home series with everybody in their division. So it's just It's just day trips to play against competition. You'll drive to Cincinnati or Dayton or Evansville or Bloomington, play your 2 games, and come back that day. So the travel schedule, there aren't a lot of hotel nights outside of your tournament weekends, and a lot of those hotels are, or a lot of those tournament weekends do take place in Indy. Again, if you have questions about Tier 2 travel, please reach out and make sure we get those questions answered before tryouts next weekend. We have updated the uniforms for boys Tier 2 travel for the upcoming season. They're going to look very similar to what the Fuel have worn for the past couple of years, and no purchase necessary. These uniforms are going to be included in everybody's assessments for the upcoming season. Very excited, very updated and sharp look for our Tier 2 boys travel teams coming up. Our AAA level, our Indiana Elite boys AAA teams, with the exception of the 18U team, had tryouts a few weeks ago. Those rosters are set. As I said in one of the previous slides, we've had tremendous success in year 1 of full-time Indiana Elite. These teams do our best to provide an easy option for players from throughout the state to practice in Indy, practice as a team, and play at hockey's highest levels of youth hockey. We practice, the boys teams practice on Wednesday nights. We have back-to-back sessions, so it's 1 trip to the rink for two on-ice sessions, and there's a skills session locally in Indy, but there's also a skills session in Fort Wayne, South Bend, and down in Columbus for players that don't live close to town. And so those players can have one trip to Indy per week and do their other practice locally. As we said, 16 and 18s are full-time this year under the Indiana Elite brand. We play in the NAPHL, one of the most prestigious AAA leagues in the country, heavily scouted, dozens of players every year moving on to junior and college hockey. We're also joining the Tier 1 Hockey Federation at all levels for the upcoming season. It's a showcase-based league that's started on the East Coast and is expanding just to get our players more exposure, more recognition, and some high quality games. 18U AAA tryouts are coming up first weekend of June. Any 18Us interested, please reach out to Coach Gratz with questions about the program or about tryouts. And we're really looking forward to putting together that 18U team and having a full roster of IE teams for the upcoming season. IE uniforms, everybody likes to see the uniforms. On the right side of the screen, we've got the 10U through 14U AAA is going to go with the same look. On the left side, the sand and the black uniforms there are what our 16s and 18s are going to wear. And all teams are going to have the 3rd red option for special events, for big tournaments where we're all playing together. There's an update for the uniforms. So one of the things that we also want to talk about is our billeting program, our hosting a player program. The reality is, with so many options at 18U AAA hockey, a lot of our local players that want to go to boarding school or want to pursue other options move out of town. And the reality is that while we want to keep the teams as locally based as we possibly can to stay competitive at the 18U AAA level, Coach Gratz does need to go outside of Indy and recruit players every year. We've had players from all over the country, including California, Minnesota, Colorado, Florida, New York, and Arizona. And these players need a place to live in season. They have a very demanding hockey schedule. They're on the ice 3 nights a week. They're traveling most weekends. So it's not realistic for most players to commute from home to play 18U AAA. And that's where we need host families. A lot of the families that we've used in the past have young players, as you can see in these pictures. They bring in a player, they live with them for the hockey season. We have a few requirements, and we have a list of rules. If you're interested, please reach out and we can share all of that with you. But it's been a tremendous experience for both the host player and for the families that brought them in. As you can see with the pictures here, they really become part of a family. They're great mentors and role models for your young hockey players. And they really do create lifelong memories and bonds with their host families. The host family receives a monthly payment directly from the family of $350 for food and other expenses. We realize that a lot of these players probably eat that much and more throughout a season, but we found that's a nice balance for our players and making sure we get families doing it for the right reasons. Host families are not responsible for player transportation. If most of the players come to town with their own car, and if they don't, we'll make arrangements for teammates to get them to and from the rink. Travel for games is taken care of by the team. Our 18U AAA team takes a bus to all their road trips, and we put them up in the hotel as a part of their season fees. So there's no concern for host families to take care of transportation at all for the players. If they're some of them will choose to do online school, some of them will enroll in high schools locally, and again, it's up to them to get to and from school, unless those arrangements are worked out prior to the agreement. If you're interested in hosting a player, please reach out to head coach Brian Gratz at the email at the bottom of the page. And we will need a few new families for the upcoming season. And if you want to talk to some of the families that have done this year after year for us and had a fantastic experience, please reach out. We can connect you with those families and get an honest opinion and story about how it goes. So please reach out if you're interested. We'll need to get those families set up here in the next month or two, with the players moving in around in the middle of August, a little bit earlier if they are going to high school around here, beginning of August. And then depending on what the players are doing for school, they may stay around to wrap up the entire school year through May. But a lot of those players that are choosing to do online school or some sort of alternate school will be out and gone by the beginning of April of 2024. Mark your calendars. The golf outing is back. We do have a change of venue for the upcoming season. We're moving it over to the Ironwood Golf Club in Fishers. It's the Matt Smith Memorial Golf Outing. All proceeds from this golf outing go to the Matt Smith Memorial Scholarship Fund. Last year, we raised almost $20,000 through our golf outing, and every dollar of that was given to players that show a need for financial assistance, playing AAA, playing Tier 2, playing in the 317 League. New for 2023, we have a kids division. Ironwood has 27 holes. The adult division is going to play on 18, and the other 9 will be used for our kids division. They'll play a round of 9 holes, have some fun contests, work with the Ironwood golf pros, and should be a blast. We've had a lot of questions in the past if the kids can participate, and this year we're going to open that up with the gracious help of Ironwood Golf Club and their pros over there. Back by popular demand, we're bringing back the helicopter ball drop from last season. Our 50-50 split the pot for closest to the pin. Our silent auction, we had some great silent auction items in the past, and fantastic hole-in-one grand prizes for anybody lucky enough to hit a hole-in-one. Fundraising opportunities for the upcoming season. Parents' Night Out. Our gracious hosts at Beer Brewery in Carmel have opened their doors for us. We had a great turnout this past season. We had about 70 people show up for Parents' Night Out, kind of a season-ending party for the parents. Got the kids a babysitter and told some stories from the past season. We will do that again for the upcoming season. The date hasn't been finalized, but usually probably the second or third week of March, right after we wrap up the travel and house seasons, for a one-night getaway to Beer Brewery in Carmel. Hoosier Hockey Invitational. We had our inaugural tournament this past season, adult league tournament. We brought in 24 teams through the help of Robin Dunn and Clay Williams. Did a fantastic job of organizing and really spearheading this effort, with all the proceeds coming back to the IYHA. If you're an adult hockey league player and you didn't participate this year, please give us a follow at HoosierHockeyInvitational.com and all their social media. But it was a great fundraiser. Beer was donated from Beer Brewery. Thank you, Beer Brewery. We crowned champions. We had 6 different divisions this past year. Just a fantastic event, a lot of fun for for the adult leagues. That'll be March 22nd through 24th of 2024. And to build on the Envy electric vehicle raffle from this past season, reality is and I'm sure you're all experiencing this in your professional lives and even your home lives, expenses have gone up for the program, for the rinks, for everybody involved. Ice time, travel expenses, insurance, legal fees, office expenses, energy bills, everything has gone up from the season and from 22-23 going into 23-24. And we've made it a priority to keep our prices as low as possible. And that's where the new car raffle is coming into play this year. To pay our bills and to pay the ice bill and to pay everything that goes along with it, we are going to have to raise some more money this year. And we thought it would be best to allow our players, all the players in the program, to sell tickets, to sell raffle tickets to offset some of this cost. So rather than increasing the prices more than we thought we have to, we are going to partner with a local dealership and make a brand new vehicle available for raffle for the upcoming season. As just like with EV raffle, the leading ticket seller, a player, will play for free in 24-25. So we'll get those future entrepreneurs and salesmen out pounding the pavement to try to earn a free season. That includes travel and house for the next year. This past season, our leading ticket seller sold 32 tickets and is getting a discounted travel season for the upcoming season. We'd like to see that move up next year and really hit the pavement. We're gonna expand the raffle. It's going to start in September and go through December, but we are going to make it a requirement for the upcoming season. Tickets will be priced at $25. Hopefully, the new vehicle will be more attractive to everybody to really get after it than the electric vehicle was. But all players in the IYHA will be required to sell $100 worth of raffle tickets. They're going to be priced at $25 each. So hopefully the way everybody sees it will be an opportunity to sell off $100 of your assessment for the upcoming season. Or you can just buy 4 chances to win that new vehicle. Details will be announced throughout the summer. Once we do lock down a dealership partner, we'll let everybody know what that car is going to be, set up the logistics for the season, and get rolling with the new car raffle. So stay tuned for details on that. Another way for us to make up for a lot of these expenses, and again, keep our assessments as low as we possibly can, we're always looking for sponsors for the IYHA. We are a 501c3 established back in 1956, one of the oldest nonprofit youth sports organizations in the Midwest. We have over 1,000 families in the association at this point. We're pushing 1,100 families in the IYHA, majority of whom live in Hamilton County, but we have several in Marion County, several on the south side. So it could be a great opportunity for a local business to be a part of the IYHA, get a lot of recognition. We have 7,500 people on our email list. If you are a part of that email list, there's 350,000 potential impressions via email. We have spots on the website. We have opportunities to sponsor jerseys. We're currently seeking a title sponsor. This past year, we thank Smash My Trash for being our title sponsor for the season. You saw their logo on practice jerseys and on the boards of all of our local rinks. We're also looking for individual team sponsors similar to the other sports that you see, baseball, soccer, local basketball teams. We're striving to have a sponsor name for all of our 317 league teams for the upcoming season. So if you have a local small business and you want a team identified by that business name, please reach out. We're also looking for silver and gold partners, which there's a range of opportunities, and we also can create custom packages for your business. There's a lot of different things we can do. Some things that may not be included on our sponsorship page. If you're interested, check out iyha.com/sponsorship. You can find more details there, and please reach out with any ideas, any questions, because that's, along with the fundraising, sponsorship is going to be a big part of keeping our costs as low as possible and bring as many new and existing hockey families into the program. Calendar for the upcoming season. Like I said, we have Tier 2 travel tryouts coming up next weekend, May 19th through 21st. Deadline for registration is tonight, Monday, May 15th. So players looking to play Tier 2 travel, register today. 317 Hockey League registration will open up soon. Early bird deadline is June 15th. Deadline for 317 League registration is September 1st. But stay tuned. If you do need new uniforms for the upcoming season, we're going to ask that you register by August 1st. Everybody will get detailed email instructions before then. Hometown Heroes Summer Camp. We've done this. We're going on our 6th season of Hometown Heroes Summer Camp. We bring in some of those pros, some of those players that are playing junior and college hockey to come back for a week-long camp. It's a day camp. We check in about 8 a.m. and check out at about 3:30. We have a local hometown hero that grew up and played their youth hockey here in to be mentors. We have several camp counselors that are in the program, some of our coaches, professional staff on staff. We'll get 2 hours of ice every day, Monday through Friday. We'll get some off-ice training, some ball hockey, and all kinds of fun stuff. It's a great opportunity. Check us out at IYHA.com/HH. As we said, the Matt Smith Memorial Golf Outing, Thursday, August 3rd at Ironwood Golf Club. Check that out at IYHA.com/golf. Travel hockey regular season practices start August 28th, and we will wrap up March 3rd of 2024. The 317 League season, Selly Day, our opening day, our evaluation day, will be on September 30th. And same thing, we'll wrap up with Gannon Cup playoffs March 3rd. So all that information is there. Check those websites out, registrations, everything you need. And if you have questions, please reach out, Derek at IYHA.com. And with that, we'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Hopefully you're all still with us. All our information is at www.iyha.com. As you can see, we've got a new, sleek, revamped website. I'm super excited. So thank you very much. We really appreciate your support and your cooperation. I'm looking forward to a fantastic 23-24.